welcome back, Paul. Welcome back as co-host, and we welcome in.
Thank you, Alex.
Leigh Turner. Welcome to the show, mate. Welcome back for your second appearance.
Nice to meet you, Leigh. Nice to meet you too.
So the reason why I've asked you on, mate, is just to get a bit of a catch up from our last conversation, which was September, October time, I think. Get a bit of a flavour for what's going on in the dark, dusty corners of the security industry, and where you're going with stuff and what you've got planned for the next 12 months or so. So Nick is actually, he couldn't be with us again. I'll just introduce Nick as a guest next time he's on. He's that infrequent. But he sent through some questions he wouldn't mind answering. So we'll run through them and then we'll kind of go through what you're up to. So some of the questions Nick had was kind of how widespread the whole WhatsApp situation, labour exploitation is. Has it got, because I know in the previous episode you mentioned there was about 8 to 850 WhatsApp groups that you estimated. Worse, better, the same?
To be fair, it's like cutting the head off a snake and 2 more grows back. So
Really?
within that sense, with the amount of people that we've actually got them to close the WhatsApp groups, 2 more pops up. So in total, since last time we actually spoke, there was actually 6 groups within a space of a day. I managed to find new.
Jeez. Same amount of people that are in them, you know, like what we're talking about, or they vary?
It varies. So some of them are averaging, because they're brand new groups, they'll be averaging between 130 to almost 500, but they do grow dramatically quick.
People within that group?
Yeah.
And is it similar numbers? Do you see the same telephone numbers in the same groups?
No, some of them are even newer.
Really?
Yeah.
How does the recruitment go for getting people into these WhatsApp groups? Off the back of our chat, I joined one back in October, November time, and then I came out of it because I got sick of seeing the message coming through. But how does it traditionally go? Is it like through Facebook or?
So you'll have places like Facebook advertising it. You would also have people on TikTok promoting it.
TikTok,
which is just the recent one that we've just found out recently through just actually by mistake, literally going on TikTok, seeing what's going on.
Was it like a video or something?
Yeah, it's a video, just someone saying how great the security industry is. But then when you click on the link, get in the group, the jobs are actually being offered at way below national minimum wage.
What sort of figures we're talking on then?
Talking about
what are you saying?
5 all the way up to £10.
£5 an hour?
£5 an hour. That's slavery.
This is the way of the world, and unfortunately, until the Home Office wakes up and smells the coffee, they need a reality check.
What are the risks that you're kind of seeing as kind of what you're doing? What are the risks for like personnel, end user, client, company?
Well, for the client, on the perspective of that, obviously retail crime, because nobody knows what the hell's going on, right? 9 times out of 10, these retailers, they'll be claiming off of their insurance on theft because it's been stolen from the store. And I think at this point, insurance companies are now getting fed up with actual retailers coming back to try and reclaim money that they've got security there for. So because they haven't really understood on the risks on that, they're just finding the cheapest option. It's like a conversation I had not too long ago where we were talking about CP and basically protecting politics, where an actual conversation started where someone actually went to someone and asked them, what's the cheapest option? And that cheapest option was a door supervisor standing on their door.
Real.
Until that mindset and that current model is eradicated from the industry, there is no improvement. Like, you can say to a retailer, right, I'll put 1 guard on the door for you. It's not going to help anything, because in criminology, the terminology for deterrence is all about numbers. So if you have a factor for, I don't know, say, one of the biggest retailers, you've got a store of almost 140 square foot, right? If you've got 1 person in there, there's no deterrence because the person's going to outweigh the risk. And what they're going to do is they're going to just turn around and say, well, you're one guy. I know what you can do and what you can't do. So I'm taking this. But retailers don't look at that.
Yeah, a lot of them had policies as well, didn't they? Where
Yeah.
if it wasn't a certain value, it's just let them go. It's
Yeah.
not worth it. It's not worth the hassle.
But now
I mean, there's only certain things a security officer can do as well.
Yeah.
You know, you can't, if you don't know he's actually got it and you can't see, you can't wrestle him to the floor.
Yeah.
Because then I'm in trouble.
Yeah, it opens up a Pandora's box. So like with the WhatsApp groups, how often, or is it 100% of the time? So like say a company's vending out a shift, are we saying 100% of the time these people aren't vetted to BS 7858, or you know we can say there's a chance that 50% of these people don't have legit licenses?
So it's as HMRC pulled up that you'll have different tiers. So within that tier, you got to remember your actual security company is a tier 2. Your tier 1 is actually the main contractor. So when it goes down the roots of the chain, most of the companies don't even know what the hell's going on. So it could be a person inside the organization actually vending the shifts out on WhatsApp. It could be another organization which has just been subbed out because they can't find the said person to actually cover the shift. Or it'll be basically another organization that's not registered that literally just comes walking straight in, which basically takes bread and butter out of the person that's actually doing it correctly. And it starts becoming a shift where organizations don't care if they're registered or not. So in the sense of compliance on vetting, is anyone really doing it?
Unless you're self-delivering. Yeah. I mean,
like I've spoken to companies and they've said that they like to keep their circle small because they know the people, they know where they're about, they know what they're doing and everything. So they keep that ship very tight.
Yeah. I mean, it's similar to how we kind of operate. So what we're doing at the minute is we're not vending subcontractors in for like contracted work. We'll do it if we do an event or if we've got significant ad hoc that we need a bit of help with.
Yeah.
I did an exercise last week actually where I went to the 2 suppliers that we use and said, right, I need these documents. I need your SIA stuff, your ACS stuff. I need to see pay slips of your staff to make sure that they're being paid the wage, because we know who's been assigned to the site.
Yeah.
Send me the last 3 months pay slips for these people. You can redact information that's not relevant, and all that sort of stuff. And to be fair, they came back really, really quickly, which gives us a bit of peace of mind that we're using where we need to and where we have to companies that have got a good moral compass. And that,
see, in that sense, I would also be careful because sometimes something is too good to be true. So you'll end up having that. But then on the back of that, are they actually the people on the job itself?
Yeah, because we've got with the wage that they kind of sent itemized timesheets back where it showed locations. So I get what you're saying, and it'd be very easy to fall foul of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we made sure to cross-reference that it was these people working on these shifts on those days. But yeah, it'd be very easy for them to kind of pull the wool over that way.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Is that something you're finding with other companies where they're using subcontractors they believe to be reputable companies, and then unbeknownst to them?
To 1,000 degrees. That's the worst part about it, is I can actually laugh about it. Because if I was to turn around and say to any security company in the UK right now, do you know who's on your site right now? All I have to do is just go onto a WhatsApp group and I'll find their job. Once I find their job, I'll turn up and I'll turn around and say, right, you owe me 40 grand now. Because the simple fact is that you didn't know who was on your shift. And if you don't know what's on your shift, who's on your shift, what are you going to do if the SIA start doing it and start giving high penalties out, asking for their HMRC pay slips, asking for their compliance notice, insurance policy coverage, and multiple stuff? You just will never know.
Have you done that, Leigh? Have you turned up and
No,
called someone out?
I did.
I asked you that in the last episode. Have you kind of looked at these shit? I think it might be Alan that asked. You've seen a vended shift. Have you gone to see then who's on that? But I think you mentioned at the time it'd kind of blur the line somewhat if you did that.
There is a conversation for it to happen.
Yeah.
So now I've been been put in contact with 300 retailers.
Okay.
That might end up being the case of the actual client signing it off
Right.
and
Okay.
having it done.
As like not an undercover thing, but like a more of a compliance check-in that
Yeah.
who we're getting. That's good. That's reassuring to know that end clients, I've got a funny feeling that might be, are taking that a bit more seriously.
Yeah.
Which is reassuring.
Well, I've got a meeting with them coming up in March, and we're obviously going to be in a magazine as well to obviously get them to understand the risks, change the image a little bit on security by getting them to realize that lone workers are now becoming the problem of retail crime. So obviously using criminology and the what's it called, deterrence theory, and get them to try it out for a week and see if they have any shoplifters.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, they won't.
It's weird, isn't it? Because you flip it on its head. You have one person, it's a low spend, high crime. Increase your security spend, decrease your shrinkage.
Yeah. Well, it's like a police officer, for example. You wouldn't put one police officer at a school gate where you know there's going to be a fight. Why wouldn't you put one police officer there? Because you know it outweighs the risk.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like sending one fireman in to take down a house fire. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, same concept. I was going to, off back what we were just talking about, I was going to be my next question is, do you think, well, we know that regulators and HMRC and things like that could do more. What do you think they should do more?
So I think at the moment with the regulatory framework is that I think with the SIA, they need to keep in their remit. And if they're going to take a company liable, let HMRC do that, because then you're sharing the load. So just don't prosecute them because they've put one person on the door because they've got no license. Prosecute the individual that's in charge of that company and let HMRC do the rest. Because then it's a collaborative approach. If you've got one person say, oh, do you know what? Me and Adaptive Change, we'll go and do a contract job. We're not sharing the load because I'm the main person on it, which then you're just a subcontractor. Share the load. Because as soon as you share the load, the conviction rate is a little bit more different. So if HMRC prosecutes them for fraud, the SIA prosecutes them for fraud on providing non-licensed security operatives, it outweighs the actual chances, because all we're seeing is just people being done left, right, and centre for no licenses, fraudulent licenses, and using documents as misleading information. So in that sense, if the SIA was to do things properly, not saying that they aren't doing it properly, better,
more efficiently.
More efficiently, and do it on a collaborative approach where HMRC does their bit, they do their bit, until something is developed where they can then come together and basically change the remit of what the SIA is really doing. But I think they're too stuck in the corporate model. They're not in an enforcement body.
When was the last time you did a course yourself, whether that be a CCTV or a door license? Have you done one recently?
No, I've got to do a renewal, which is coming up soon. So I'm going to do that when I'm down in Birmingham.
The only reason I ask, I did my CCTV one last year. I thought it was quite well run, actually. The gentleman that run the course from Get Licensed was really good. And there was 2 or 3 people on that course that got kicked off, whether that was because they just couldn't communicate, or they couldn't write, they just wasn't good with their English. And I thought that was really positive, that people that couldn't communicate wasn't getting basically just put through the course. Because obviously I work in a building where if you can't communicate,
you don't get it.
You ain't surviving.
You can't survive. And and that's large parts of the security industry is communication is massive. Good communication is massive. It has to be. So I was just trying to get an insight. So if you'd seen an improvement from the last time you did it.
You're not really going to see it, because if you've done the qualification from, I think it's 2021, you don't have to redo them elements.
It's only it's a 1-day course, refresh course, isn't it?
So
it's different.
The only thing that you have to probably do is your first aid. So it goes back to the same model as what it was, because they haven't changed anything from 2021 to now. All they've done is just added a little bit of elements, which is like the spiking. That's about it, really.
What sort of backlash have you had? Because I know you've been quite a vocal crusader, I'll say, in the industry for like the last 12, 18 months now. Because we were talking about this off camera, and I know what you're going to say, but I was staggered that your answer was what it was.
Yeah, well, probably the whole industry probably knows what it is, but the only person that hasn't had not one legal action or any type of threats on that front at the beginning had someone try to bribe, someone tried to find out where I live, but other than that, it's just
really
talk.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
no cease and desist orders, no you're slandering our company's name.
No,
that's wild. I mean, it's you can kind of flip it on its head and look at it a different way, in a sense that some people aren't doing that. Does that mean that they're taking notice of what you flagged, for example, and they're trying to deal with it rather than silence you? They're thinking, right, okay, there's the messenger. Let's
stop and just make sure. Let's hope he doesn't get wind of it.
Yeah.
In that sense, it makes sense, but yeah, I do feel like some of them are swerving it.
Right.
But the thing is that I don't miss a trick,
and you know where to find it all,
and I know where to find it all.
Honestly, innocent me, I've not even asked you this off camera. I was going to do is how would I find it if I wanted to find it?
The thing is if you really want to look for it, 9 times out of 10, it's always in front of you.
Really?
Yeah. You know what they say about the saying, right? If you want to hide something from someone, hide it in plain sight.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's interesting. I know we talked about it in the previous episode, about fears around like what kind of infrastructure could fall victim to this. I know we were talking off camera before about a post that you put out yesterday about a stadium. Have you seen or heard of any like kind of big infrastructure sites or dash infrastructure sites? You don't have to name any names or anything like that, but where there's been like vended shifts to it?
I think since the last few of the nuclear power station and certain other protected infrastructures, they've pretty gone quiet. So I think because of them posts,
it's reassuring. Look at that, yeah.
Because of those posts, it has actually done something. Like, I know there's companies out there right now, they're saying if they see any of my posts, the person that actually posted it in the first place is going to get sued to the high hills. I've had that certain companies are closing their doors and starting to go down the self-delivery route.
I know Carlisle have done that, haven't they?
Yeah.
In this last 12 months, they now say that they 100% self-deliver everything.
Yeah.
It's hard to do that though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's hard to self-deliver on everything.
I'd have said, I mean, if they're doing it, and if it is true, hats off to Paul. He's got a over £100 million turnover security organisation. If they're self-delivering everything, fair play.
Yeah,
fair play. If I don't want to cast aspersions, we'll park it there. But if they're doing it, fair play, fair play.
I don't know if you're going to ask this, Alex. I need to. The camera might not see this. I can see your phone is literally lit up constantly. Is anything? And you've looked at it a few. Is anything coming up there?
Have we had any shifts vended that you can share?
Sorry, I put you on the
spot. We're all licensed. We could apply for them.
Yeah,
go do a shift.
I just keep watching his phone light up, and I'm like, "Is this something coming through?"
Is that like WhatsApp groups that are pinging?
Yeah. So there's obviously, because some of them know that they're being put out to the public for their shady shifts, they're now starting to go onto like the HMO side of things. So they're starting to like put up like rented accommodation, lawyer, immigration lawyers, stuff like that. So,
what's the? I mean, you have to name the sites or any location from that, but what's pay rates that are coming through on them?
On these WhatsApp groups,
Yeah.
some of them try to be smart by saying the actual rate, but then when you actually message them and they think that
It's
you
secure.
don't know and it's 100% secure, they actually go down in value.
Right.
Yeah, so
they'll be vending it at like a legal rate.
Yeah, and then when you message them and you ask them for the rate, they totally forgot what they've said in the actual post, and then they go right down to profit on their side.
Wow.
It's like a deterrence type thing. If you see it at £11.44, the first thing you're going to do is like, oh, it's that legal wage.
Yeah, see, this is what I cannot wrap my head around. What you're doing, I think is absolutely crucial to the industry, and it's a shame that, and shame on the industry for not rallying around everyone trying to rid our industry of this. Ultimately, the people who suffer the most are the people who are getting exploited.
Yeah, absolutely.
The security officers who are getting exploited. This is modern day slavery. Let's call it for what it is. I still cannot wrap my head around that WhatsApp groups exist, because you're not a secret. People know that there's a small chance that you're, or people who work with you are in these groups and they're going to get outed. Is it stupidity? Is it arrogance?
It's greed, I think, mate, for the money. It's got to be. It's got to be greed.
Well, I think
all of the above.
On the corporate side, it's corporate greed, right? Which I'm hoping that someone actually does them under the corporate financial crime act, whatever it's called. Hope someone does them for them, because that will go right the way up to the client as well, and that would send
and lose them contracts.
I was going to say, I was going to be one of my questions. Does there need to be a sacrificial lamb where like an MD or a CEO of like a top 20, top 30 company is dragged through the mud? And
if one of these big companies was dragged through the mud tomorrow, I guarantee you everybody in the industry will have their tail between their legs, because the first thing they're going to think of is,
that could be me.
That could be us. And if that is us, there is no coming back from it.
Do you think that could happen? If you're a betting man, do you think that could happen?
I think he knows it will.
If I was to put any price on it, I would put £1 million on it.
Really? That someone's... I mean, I hope it happens, because...
But I think it's got to happen for things to change.
For the industry to clean up.
I mean, off camera, Leigh did mention a big company, and I nearly fell over. I was like, right, okay.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I think something like that has to happen.
Yeah. You have to hit the industry where it hurts the most. And I feel like with insurance companies, they are part to blame as well, because they have the powers to actually turn around and say, do you know what?
Taking your insurance.
We're taking your insurance.
Can't trade them.
I know supermarkets that, or stores, smaller stores, that won't pay for a guard on the door because that's a saving of, £40,000+ a year. And they're not really losing that amount of money, but they'll still be claiming on the insurance.
Oh, it's like cost negative.
Yeah.
Cost
but like you say, you put that guard at the door, the deterrent is just massive straight away. And it's not just the deterrent for nicking the stock. The staff must feel more secure having the guard on the door. You'd think so, yeah?
You'd think.
Well, you just got to have, for example, one person on the door and someone runs into that store with a knife or a machete. The first thing the customers are going to think is, forget that, I'm not going back there again. Security guard couldn't do anything. He was hiding behind the camera desk.
Yeah. I know they'll be sorry, I keep standing on my foot. I know they'll, in any organisation, whether it's supermarket, retail, whatever, infrastructure, there'll be good companies, there's bad companies, there's good security officers, there's bad security officers. It's interesting you mentioned that. I had an incident personal to myself in a supermarket where my 2-year-old decided that he was going to run off. And literally ran out. I couldn't find him for 5 minutes. It was the scariest thing I've ever experienced in my entire life. But I'll name it. It was Marks and Spencer's. It was down at White Rose in Leeds. And the security guards, they had 3 on, I think, that day, were superb. And that was reassuring, because they knew exactly, they were like, right, shut off the exits, don't let anyone in or out with a kid matching this description. It was like, we found him in a couple of minutes. He was wandering around women's wear, just brushing the clothes like 2-year-olds do. But that was reassuring to know, and that's how it should be. Whereas, you get these vended shifts, people who can't speak English or whatever.
That then becomes the problem.
Exactly.
And
heaven forbid
he ends up walking out the store and into a front of a car,
or someone
or
takes him
someone
out.
takes him. Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, being able to communicate and get that across in that,
it was
good.
Yeah.
We just got to look at the landscape at the moment of the country, right? We've got people attacking children. We've got children going missing. We've got women being assaulted. We've also got different ethnic groups actually at rivalry now because of Palestine and Israel.
Yeah.
Then you've got the other conflicts that go on within every other country, So for us as an industry, it makes it even more harder for us to do our jobs, do our checks, make sure that everything's going on. But the question is, again, is if a company says that they're fully compliant, what does compliance look like?
Yeah. Is their version of compliant? It's interesting. It's interesting.
We can point to many companies that say that they're compliant. Oh, we're the gold standard. We're the platinum standard. We're the
pace setter,
ultimate standard.
Yeah.
But
it's like we were talking again before we started recording. The ACS scheme, whilst it's a good scheme and it lets companies showcase that they're doing the right things to a degree, I think part of it is a bit of a checkbox exercise, and you can pass with a low score, you can pass with no score. Is that relevant? Would reforming something like that help the industry, do you think?
Now, for the ACS, the SIA knows my opinion on it, and I think quite a load of people do know.
Is it similar to my opinion? Is that another shift coming through?
No, it's someone's just actually popped up, which is quite funny, because he said, "Can someone help me get an SIA license?" And he said, "Do 10 press ups." So,
wow,
the ACS now, I don't think it's fit for any purpose, even from its creation, right? Because
I think it's more of a vanity project.
No, I think it's more a cowboy's outfit.
Okay.
Right? Because if you look at most of the organizations that go in there, they're not exactly clean and tidy. If anyone was, I know some people will call them gangsters in suits.
We were talking about that this morning.
Or
we absolutely
mobsters. But they all are in it for their own self-gain. So every organization that's done a consultation to actually redesign that ACS program have all added their own beneficial grades to it. It's not, even though it's open to a consultation, me and you might have our opinions and our views and add them in there for that to be at least considered.
Yeah.
But it's always shelved.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm not accusing anyone at the ACS. We had our audit a couple of weeks ago, and the chap who audited us was, he's very good.
But was that the ACS or the auditing body?
The auditing body.
So it wasn't the SIA.
No, I think
they do it on the behalf of the SIA.
Yeah, they're like a subcontractor, ironically, like a subcontractor. But it does make me think, like, are the auditors whiter than white? Because
you see, I didn't even know with the ACS, I thought you had to score above a score to pass.
Score a 0.
You can score a 0 on pass. So what is the point?
It just makes me think, like, and again, not accusing. So hold me to this. I'm asking a question: are they beyond corruption? I'm not saying that the ACS or the auditors are corrupt, but for me, it kind of sits as something that could be corruptible. Because who's checking them? They're doing a report and then they're saying, yeah, this company's fine. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it just goes back to the debate that I had not too long ago, saying how can you have an auditor come out, audit a company, forget about the audit, and go out for dinner?
Yeah.
Like, you're supposed to be making sure the industry is compliant to the ACS standard that it's been set out. And from hearing that they've come in and literally gone out for dinner.
Yeah.
Where does the balance in the legality in it?
Yeah. I mean, we're not saying Adept are the best and we do everything the right way. We try and fix things every. Yeah, we try every.
I'd like to think we're a company with a moral compass.
No, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
No, we are.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting. You obviously sat down with Alex, Alan, and Nick last year. Since speaking to these guys, have you spoke to any other security companies? Has anyone else invited you to come and chat to them or give them your words of wisdom and things? Is it
this year? I've been invited to go through 33 security companies
that they've asked you to do.
Yeah,
right. Okay.
That they've asked me to come along and help them clean up like certain processes and stuff like that.
So that's encouraging.
That's interesting. That's reassuring.
Yeah,
as well. That's good to know.
Some of them are actually ACS providers as well, so which is handy to know.
All over the country.
All over the country.
Yeah.
All over the country.
Ranging in like
different sizes.
Yeah.
Different sizes, which is kind of shocking. I wasn't expecting that, to be fair. But there is other organizations that have actually said, Leigh, we want to be a part of this mission and fix the industry. And to be fair, if we're talking about self-regulation, it needs an organization to kind of have that benchmark. But also at the same time, it needs an organization with partners that ain't going to cause that conflict of interest.
Out of them organizations that you're talking about, have you actually ever seen anything come through from one of their employees that you've actually had to have gone, that it's going on like below someone's nose and, like you say, it's in front of their face and they can't see it?
I've spoken to 3 organizations within the week, but that was just to confirm that it's not theirs.
Right.
One of them was actually a part of the supply chain. They are now dismantled from that supply chain, which is good. So companies are listening, they are paying attention to what's going on, and they are finding stuff. My question is that 1%, why do you keep on denying it?
Part of me thinks as well with some of the companies that have, it's no secret, you can look at your posts over the last 12 months, you can see the locations, you can put 2 and 2 together and you can work out who these companies are without having to say it. A part of me thinks, are they doing it for the good of the industry to clean it up so that they're a reputable company that does things the right way, or are they doing it through fear because they don't want to be named and shamed by the likes of yourselves, Adam Jones previously, and future people who will do this kind of thing?
Well, it's like any organization, they fear scrutiny. They fear transparency. So if transparency is so much of what you fear, then it shows a perfect picture of their organization. Instead of working towards improvement, they would rather keep it in the shadows.
Yeah.
But the shadows are only getting lighter. And every single corner that they try to hide it,
you find it
not be able to exist.
It's good. That's good in a sense. We could generally talk all day, mate. Really appreciate your time coming in to see us. It blows my mind when we speak. I know we spoke a couple of weeks ago when we were arranging getting you on. But yeah, again, I think the industry owes you a debt, mate, for what you're doing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Keep going, mate. Yeah,
for those who want to clean up the industry. And yeah, we'll keep watching. We'll keep in touch, mate. It'll be a fascinating 12 months, 2 years, 3 years.
Come over to Manchester. Come over to the office. Come and say hello.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll wrap up there. See you next time.